Yeah, I am the guy who talks about things, and this is absolutely the time to get hyped. We're going to have some really good racing starting today, and looking forward to seeing this action getting going. Let's switch over here. This is the information that you may have seen floating around the internet on Reddit and various Discord channels, wherever you get your Star Citizen information. This is the Star Racing Summer Cup, and we're getting this started pretty soon. If you would like to, you can still hop into that Discord channel. Registration is now closed, of course, because we are getting started in a little bit over 10 minutes. But if you want to get in there and see what's going on, chat with the people, get in on future races, you are more than welcome to do that. We have a couple of different races going on in our high speed class, which is happening later on in the day. We'll be competing on Deferred Link, and in a moment here I'll walk you through Deferred Link with a little bit more information on that. And in that high-speed class, there's only going to be a couple of ships that are accessible for each racer. We have our M50s, our Razor, and our 350Rs. So we'll see those two Origin ships facing up against the more recent MISC offering and see which one comes out on top, how that does. The prize is only going to the first place person, the finalist who wins the last race, and that's going to be a $25 gift card for Star Citizen that's going to go to that individual. Coming up in just a couple of minutes here, we're going to be seeing our open class on Rickard Memorial again. I'll walk you through that map in just a couple of seconds here. The ships are entirely open except for eliminating those high-speed classes. It's available within the racing. You can fly it in this one. And we've actually Great. We're just starting to get some information. The lobbies are starting to open up. So if you are a racer and if you're currently looking, just watching in stream, make sure you're in game so that we can invite you to get in game and make sure we're all good. We're going to be starting in about 10 minutes here. So getting back to the racers that are available, it'll be interesting to see some of the different ships that people have decided to fly in this open class. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing some of the more unusual ships popping up. We have some that we were told about in advance, and some are just going to be a surprise. The winner of this open class is going to be earning themselves a $10 Star Citizen gift card, and they'll be able to put that towards maybe another racer, or maybe towards another interesting ship to bring into the next open class race. This is where you are right now, but down at the bottom you can see that twitch.tv/StarRacingTV. If you want to head over to that website or send your friends over to that website, you are more than welcome to do that. Now, as each race starts, we'll be talking about the individual racers, but first, let's take a look at the map here. We have a little bit of information on the two races, the two maps that we're going to be seeing races on. First, we have this beautiful image of Rickard Memorial. This is named after a racing legend of the past, Rickard. And this is the mid-length racetrack that we have on LS3. It's got a whole lot of angled checkpoints, and this allows the pilots to really figure out their own favorite path. Sometimes you'll see there's pilots who enjoy going around buildings, and sometimes there'll be more high-risk paths that they cut between these buildings. Keep an eye out for that as we're going through it. Moving on, there's, of course, different ways that you can get through, but one thing that's going to be very important to all of our racers is there is an issue in Star Citizen where you can pass through a ring without physically traveling through it in your ship. We'll look at our rules in a moment, but that is not going to be allowed. That might result in a time violation if you do end up doing that. So one of the locations that this tends to happen is sometimes on Rickard's first turn. Some people try to kind of cheese their way around that one. We're going to try to keep an eye out for that to make sure it doesn't happen. And of course, on this open map, we're going to have some very large ships, and as you can see, there's some very narrow paths that people are going to be trying to push their way through in order to get towards the end quicker. But if you're in a slightly larger ship than you're used to, then maybe that won't be the best idea. Moving on, we're going to be seeing a couple of races on Deferred Link, and this is going to be our high-speed class. These are going to be your M50s, your Razors, and your 350Rs. And this is going to be an interesting one to watch because there are a lot of those turns that are pretty sharp, and people do like to try to avoid going entirely through those rings. So on this map, that's going to be one to keep an eye out to see if anyone's doing that, if anyone's doing any sort of cheesy maneuvers to give themselves a little advantage. This is the longest of the tracks that we have available to us currently. It has a whole lot of sharp turns at the very beginning, and then at the end you see that really nice, wide, long, spiraling pathway that goes way up to the top of the map and then plunges directly downwards towards the finish line. So there's a lot of opportunities for very interesting 90-degree turns here, very interesting opportunities for people to pass each other if they drift a little bit too far. This will be a fun one to watch for sure. But since it's so long, there's a lot of time that people can make up for lost distance in front of them. Of course, there is that very unforgiving first turn on Defford Link that just is the instant 90-degree vertical drop just past the first ring. That one, I know, is my least favorite turn of all of them. But we're looking forward to seeing this, and it's great to see these ships spiraling around the tall spire at the end of this course. Now, we'll skip over the information on the particular ships. We might look at that a little bit in the future, but for now, we're just going to pop down to these rules so that you are familiar with the rules as well as all of the racers. If anybody's currently in chat and looking at that, this is information that's important to you. So, here we have our race rules. Really just common sense sort of things, trying to avoid the exploitation of bugs. Rule number 1 is we don't abuse bugs in order to gain an advantage. So rules 2 and 3 are the ones that will really look at this, but it can apply to others. Depends on the situation that we look into. Number 2, we're not going to be repositioning the ships before the race starts. Not going to be trying to jumpstart to get ahead of the sort of starting blast. We want everyone to start fairly and evenly. An important thing is do not inflict damage upon your own ship to make it control differently or make it go faster. This is a thing that's been in game for quite some time, we've been dealing with for quite some time, and it just makes an unfair playing field, and it only really applies fully to some particular ships. So we'll be keeping an eye out for people who are intentionally damaging their ships to try to make it a little bit more controllable. Of course, if you run out of fuel, explode your ship, get a new one, have fuel. That's great. That is no problem whatsoever. And finally, number 4, expected that you will be going through checkpoints. Please try to fly through those checkpoints. So those are the things we're going to be looking at throughout the race. Of course, we can expand on these if something comes up throughout the tournament, but we're hoping that nothing triggers any sort of additional changes to these rules or additions or anything like that. So it is currently my time. It is standing at 11:10 in the morning. It is 8:11 in the afternoon, in the evening, in German time, which is where this is located centrally. So we're going to have about 5 more minutes before we try to get into the game. So let me accept this party invite so that... Oh, interesting. My commands reversed somehow. And I'm going to make sure that I'm joining as a spectator. So, here is our first race from the Open class, I believe. First race from the Open class. We're waiting on someone just to restart their Star Citizen. It looks like it may have crashed or something may have happened, but we'll be getting in there just in a couple of seconds here. Now for this first, we're starting with the semifinals here. The semifinals are going to be 2 rounds with separate racers going on at these different times. In this race we have Joaquin, who is representing the Intergalactic Defense Force, and Joaquin is flying in his Aegis Avenger Stalker. Meyer we have from Synchronizer Z or Synchronizer Z, and Meyer is going to be flying his Origin 300i. I might actually want to take a screenshot of this so that I can refer to it later. Meyer is going to be flying their Origin 300i. We have Ninjetti. Ninjetti, where are you flying? You're also in an Avenger Titan. And Hilarious Drunk, who are just waiting to join back up, is going to be flying a Vanguard Warden. I am joining as a spectator, and yeah, we're all good to get going on my end. Alright. You'll see that there are a few other people in this lobby. They're just officials for spectating and for doing some other observations throughout the race. That is Cats and Flexxe. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Cats, Flexxe, and myself are the officials in this race, so we'll be observing and seeing what's going on. So let's switch over to the spectator mode. We're just waiting for the race to get started. And there we have Cats with the excellent manners. Good luck, have fun, everybody. And of course, being that you're all in chat, you are welcome to share your hopes and dreams of who you would like to see win this race. We're going to be closing the HUD and watching everybody take off that start line. We have our Vanguard Warden there just taking off a little bit, and let's switch over to observe. Who is this that we're observing? This could be Meyer, I think. Oh, well, we're swapping over to somebody else. This is going to be, I believe this is Hilarious here that we're observing back here in the Warden. Flying along, you can see that this is that very narrow pathway that he could have to sneak his way through, but being that he's in this large ship, it might be a little bit more difficult to do that. Moving forward, we have one of our two 300 eyes. Unfortunately, it's potentially Meyer, but I don't actually know because this information at the bottom of the screen is sometimes incorrect, so we'll be keeping an eye on this to see how he's going. We can see controlling pretty smoothly, managing not to drift too far between these corners as he makes his way back towards the end of this first lap. And who do we got next? We have... and there we have Ninjetti. Well, now we know that we're observing Ninjetti here in his Avenger Titan. So this is in second place right now. So I suppose that was Meyer we were watching earlier. Meyer, excellent with your first lap of 1:12. We have Ninjetti in second with a time of 1 minute and 24 seconds. Joaquin's coming up very close after that with 1:26, so we'll see if we can make up some time and bypass Ninjetti here. So should be seeing Joaquin just coming around the corner behind him there. Yeah, you can see that second Avenger Titan. I believe it's an Avenger Titan flying out this there behind him. And who do we have coming in here right at the final end? This is Hilarious with his first lap in that Avenger, or not Avenger, that Gladius. But we have a really nice neck and neck race here going on between Ninjetti and Joaquin. Looks like these are the two that are pretty close to one another. And once again, Meyer coming around for his second lap. That is 1 minute and 8 seconds in. So we got a very nice matchup here in the middle. We have Ninjetti and Joaquin's. Looks like Joaquin's is taking on the second place role. There goes Joaquin's and Ninjetti through the start line. Just finishing, heading off towards our second lap. And let's switch directly to the person that we're trying to get to. There we go, here's Ninjetti. And Joaquin's following up just behind him. Or Joaquin's just in front. As I said, the spectating and icon saying who we're actually spectating isn't entirely accurate. So this could be Ninjetti, this could be Joaquin's. We'll not know until the end of the lap. But momentarily we're going to have Joaquin. Not Joaquin. Oh, where is that? There we are. Here we have Meyer coming through with the end of his third lap. Here is the end of the race here coming up for Meyer. And it looks like that's going to be 1 minute 8 seconds. His top time, 3 minutes 29 seconds total for this race. Very good showing. Well done. Congratulations to Meyer. Looks like Meyer will be moving on to the next lap. Next race. And who do we have coming through next? It looks like there might be someone coming through soon. There we go. There's Ninjetti coming through with 3 minutes and 55 seconds, and if there's any indication, here it comes. Oh, here comes Hilarious with the end of his second lap. 1 minute and 58 seconds on that second lap. Excellently done. And we should be seeing Joaquin's coming on through here relatively soon, unless he got caught up partway through the race, which is very possible. And here we go, we have our race ending. I'm gonna grab a quick little print screen there, and there's Joaquin coming through with his 4 minutes, 23 seconds, and 31 milliseconds. So, unfortunately, there was a point in the race where they were very close. They were in the middle, but Ninjetti had it in him to just pull ahead and make it into that second place slot. So it looks like the three of them are actually going to be advancing on to the next round. We have Meyer, Ninjetti, and Joaquin's all finishing in those first three places, and then at the end there we have, who did we have? Hilarious Drunk in his Aegis Gladius. Or Vanguard Warden. I don't know the names of ships. In his Vanguard Warden coming through there at the end, which is with a very respectable completion of 2 laps throughout that race. And you can actually see him right now switching over to a Razor, which I believe he may be using in the high speed class. So between these races here, we're gonna head on over. Here is a little bit of footage of Rickard Memorial. This is provided by Cats. You can see that we have that little map down in the corner, as well as a picture-in-picture, so you can take a glance at this race as in more of a scenic, sort of slow view as we head all the way around this race and get to see one of the paths that Cats really likes using. So you can notice he takes the inside of that tall tower just after the second turn there. In a moment, we'll check to see if the brackets have been updated quite yet. I know that Katz was saying that he was on that, so we'll see how that goes in just a moment. Pop over to these brackets and hide those high-speed group. There we go. We have Meyer with 3 minutes, 29 seconds, and 84 milliseconds. Ninjetti in second with 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 56 seconds, and 1 millisecond. Joaquin with 4 minutes, 23 seconds, and 31 milliseconds for third place, and then Hilarious with his very respectable, completing the second lap in that Vanguard. So as you can see, our next race coming up, we're going to be seeing Cats facing off against Xerix, Sredny, Vestar, and Paladin. We'll get that hooked up pretty soon. You can also take a look. We have a little preview of some of the ships that we're going to be seeing throughout there. Oh, I guess I could have just referred to this sheet for Hilarious's ship. We have our Vanguard there for Hilarious Drunk. We're going to be seeing a Gladius coming up next from Sredny Vashdar. And Katz making a bold choice with his Aurora LN. We'll see how that flying brick does in the hands of a very skilled pilot. And while we are hanging out and waiting, let's take a look back at Rickard Memorial here. We'll allow this to play through until we see the next race coming up. So that was a really nice race that we just saw with the large amount of conflict there in the beginning between Ninjetti and Joaquin. There was a very tight race in the first lap, and then there was saw Ninjetti pull ahead and managed to make it towards the end of the race in that second place. We'll see if that helps him out for the future. Meyer, very impressive, way out in front of the others, with quite a respectable time. especially for, well, I suppose for flying in the 300i, it is quite a nice ship. Not really always pictured as the most qualified racer, but for a while there was actually quite a good racer in the 3.1 sort of era of updates to Star Citizen. I'm going to allow for a moment just to check in on our Discord server so that I can see if there's been anything said. Nothing said. That is A-okay. And let's take a quick little gander at these ships here, shall we? Here in our open class, here are some of the ships that will potentially be seen. These are the ones that are possible to see, and popping directly on over to the screen right here, we have our consolidated Outland Mustang Gamma and Omega. Those are a couple of ships that are totally valid within the open class. They are dedicated racers, but they're kind of considered to be just the level below those high-speed class racers that we'll be seeing coming up later on. So CNOU decided to develop this because they wanted to have some sort of competitive edge there in racing. Okay. Well, it sounds good. So we're waiting to reach out to a couple of the racers here in this next round. If they don't end up appearing, then we're going to be starting the race within 5 minutes here anyway. And if they do show up, then that's great. Then they'll be able to pop into the lobby with us and participate in this race. But otherwise, we'll have a race of 2, and we'll see how that goes down. And then we'll have, I guess, 2 advancing to the next round. So one of the ships that we may see here, I guess maybe not now that we know who's going to be racing, but we'll give these other two a opportunity. We could be seeing this Mustang from Consolidated Outland. As well as in our previous race, we did manage to see that Origin 300i. This ship was not really designed for racing, but it's a cruising ship. It's designed for taking people out to have a quick look around the galaxy and just cruise around and see the sights. But it's actually not that bad of a racer. It's really fun to fly. It's got pretty decent handling. I enjoy flying this. I used to own one. And I always really liked it when I did have it, even when I brought it into Arena Commander to do some racing. The fuel capacity is one of the biggest sellers on these larger ships, in that you never have to worry about running out of fuel. This ship, as it says here, it'll last for 10 laps on Deferred Link. 10 laps is enough for any racer to get around that in even a shorter, even a slower ship like this. You can use your afterburner and boost throughout the entire race, and you're really pretty good. And then we have our Drake Buccaneer. This is one of the ones that we might be seeing coming up. This is not known for its racing capabilities, the Buccaneer. Drake ships generally are more known for their sort of seedy underworld experiences. But this ship is fast, it's powerful, it's got those 2 huge engine components on either wing. And it's really nice to see these things flying around on the racetracks every so often. They make this really nice, deep noise that you don't really get from any other ship. It's also got a little bit of a smaller frame than a few other ships that are viable in racing, so it can still fit between those close together buildings. And again, with the smaller ship size comes a somewhat smaller fuel tank, so you have to start worrying about that as we move into it. I forgot to mention the racers where they were representing. So we have Joaquin's representing Intergalactic Defense Force. Meyer was representing Synchronizer Z. Ninjetti from Starjagger, and Hilarious Drunk is representing Pagan, the Zealots of Technology. So if you're interested in any of those racers, if you like their personality, feel free to go check out their organizations as well. Then we have this information here again. So let's pop back, and we're still looking at Rickard Memorial. This is a randomized playlist, but we're still just looking at Rickard Memorial. That is A-okay. Coming up in our next race, we're going to be seeing potentially Paladin, who is going to be representing Clan VMod, and we're unsure what ship he's going to be flying, or they're going to be flying. Sredni Vashtar going to be flying in a Gladius, it looks like, and they're non-representing, they're just flying under their own banner. Xerax we have in Unknown Ship from the United Earth Mining Corporation. And then we're going to be seeing Cats facing off against these other three, representing Penta, and it looks like Cats is going to be flying an Aurora LN, but we'll see how that ends up going in the future. Alright, so it looks like we're... Alright, well, it looks like we're going to be starting up this race in a couple of minutes here. We have two racers in this one. We have, let's swap over to spectator cam right here. We have Sredni, who's going to be facing off against Cats, and if the other racers arrive, then we'll, of course, invite them, but if they don't, then unfortunately they won't be advancing into the next round, but we'll be seeing how that goes for them. And of course, being in chat, feel free to share your ideas, share your opinions. Are you into the things that are going on here? Which racers are your favorites? Which would you like to see move on? And or which would you which ones would you like to see do well? Who are you voting for? Who are you rooting for? Good to have that kind of information. It's good to share the hype and you know, be able to figure out how much of a fan base do we have going here. As we wait just these last couple of minutes. Looks like it's going to be starting up in a couple of minutes here. One nice thing is this lobby at the beginning, we can see the worries of the racers. We have Sredni announcing that we're going to be starting in 1 minute, and then Sredni breathing into a paper bag to help him keep his cool. But we'll see if that helps him in this race against Cats. As face-to-face, they're just racing one against the other. We'll see how this goes for them. And here we are loading into Rickard Memorial once again. As with all races in the open class, we're going to be doing Rickard Memorial, and here we have our view of the starting line. Both players have now readied up, and they're going to be heading off in just a moment. We have Cats in his... I forgot to check what he was in, but we'll see shortly enough. We have Cats in something, and Sredni also in something. So here we are, we have Cats in his Aurora LN with that very interesting missile mount at the top. It helps with the aerodynamics, I think. And then we have Sredni moving on in his Gladius, heading off. Really taking quite a lead here in the beginning. So we'll see if he can manage to hold on to that throughout the rest of the race. Sredni coming around through these middle turns. These ones are pretty dangerous. If you do end up taking these ones a little bit too hard or a little bit too fast, you could end up drifting out for quite some ways and really losing out on some time. Cat's not having that problem. He's managed to make it through that corner. No worries whatsoever. Quite a smooth movement. Heading back over towards Sredni. And as we can see, it says Cats, but it means Sredni. Heading back over towards Sredni here. And it looks like he's completed his first lap at 1 minute and 5 seconds. And he's actually coming all the way around to the first hairpin turn there. The one that, oh man, passing directly through that person's garage. The control that it takes to get through those things effectively without crashing is very impressive. And then there's Cats with his 1 minute and 26 seconds through the starting line. Let's just lock the camera here so it's not swapping us through very quickly. Now the Gladius here, it's a very interesting ship to see flying on a racetrack because we have those additional fins that you would imagine must help with stability a lot. So I suppose if you're taking a ship like this into Arena Commander to do some racing in it, you're really concerned about making sure that you're staying on your lines, you're making sure that you are sticking it out and being really accurate with your aim. And that is the end of our second lap. We have Sredny coming through with 1 minute and 2 seconds. Cat's coming up kind of close behind him. He is a little ways back. We'll be seeing him come through towards the end in just a couple of seconds here. And Sredny coming up through the top portion of the figure eight that we see in this race. And Cat's coming down to the end of his second lap. We're going to be seeing the time that he comes through here at. It's going to be... Well, we'll see if he speeds up. Yeah, he does. He ends up at 1 minute, 24 seconds, and 65 milliseconds. So that's quite a respectable time for being that he's in a combat brick, basically. He's doing quite a good job there. And we have Sredny about to come through with the end of the race. There he goes, and that's going to be 3 minutes, 12 seconds for Sredny. And Cats we have coming all the way up over this end of the little figure eight here at the top of the map. And this is the corner. This is the corner that, one of the ones that tends to make you veer off a little bit violently to the side if you're not quite prepared for it. Let's see. Why can't we control the camera while we're looking at Cats? There we go. Now we're taking a look at Cats here, and he's coming up towards the end of the race. Is he going to finish this up before the end of these 10 seconds where it says just ends your race for you? Let's lock the camera here because we only really need to keep an eye here for now. We got 10 seconds. It's going to be pretty close. Maybe he'll come through to the end, but we have Sredny here at... Oh, he's very, very close. There might actually be a chance that he'll head on through that finish line, but we cannot switch the camera over there. It just brings us right back to Sredny here. So we have Sredny with 3 minutes, 12 seconds, 16 seconds. Cats with the very near non-finish. Probably at about 4 minutes, 12 seconds, 4 minutes, 13 seconds. So two very impressive, very respectable showings from those two racers. It was interesting to see the Gladius flying with that very, very high level of control that you do get with that ship. So we're not entirely sure if we're going to be staying in this lobby or moving on to another one. Looks like we're moving on to another one. I'll just head back out to here. And let's take a look at these brackets. Not that, we're looking at the brackets. Here we go. So we have a couple of did not finishes heading off here, and Sredny Vashtar. We had maybe someone to take a quick little glance at his time here. And as you can hear, potentially in the background, my landlord is a drummer. So if you can hear that in the background, I apologize for that, but you can hear that sometimes. That's okay. Do we need this information, though? Allow me a moment just to glance through my far too many files. There we go. So we have Sredny Vashtar finishing that off with a race time of 3 minutes, 12 seconds, and 16 milliseconds. So averaging just over about 1 minute per lap. That's not bad for being on that track. Or maybe it's me that's not refreshed. Let's switch over to this. Switch back to here. Oh yeah, no, it's not me that's not refreshed. We're good. We're good. So 3 minutes, 12 seconds, and 16 seconds. So that means that moving on to our final race here, we are going to be seeing... interesting. We're going to be seeing Meyer, Ninjetti, Joaquin, and Sredni Vashdar, as well as Katz, actually, because he placed into the final. So he's, even with the did not finish, he still places into the next round. We're going to have a race of 5 here coming up. And I will leave that lobby so that I can be invited to a new lobby whenever it ends up coming live. And let's see if we can swap on over here, and let's remove one of these videos. No, that's okay. So we have Rickard Memorial. Once again, we're going to be ending up back on Rickard Memorial in just a couple of seconds here, allowing our racers to settle their nerves, get revved up for a new race, and be looking forward to getting back into this one. It was interesting seeing an Aurora LX there. It's very rare to see Auroras racing. My first experience of racing was to hop into my Aurora MR way back in, like, I don't even know what the update note or update number was at that point, but it was quite some time ago, and that was a real not great experience, because that's just not a fun ship to fly. So it's very nice that you almost managed to make it through there to the end, Cats, with that racer. And are we hitting some issues with the bitrate here? Because we shouldn't be, because we are hardwired directly into the internet. Well, hopefully that settles down in a couple of minutes here and starts to speed a little bit more efficiently. Yeah, the bitrate is feeling a little bit, it's struggling, Sigillian, so hopefully that comes back to a more reasonable rate of data transfer soon. I don't entirely know what's going on, but we have a new router coming on Wednesday, so that'll hopefully solve all those problems. And here we have, this is Old Vanderval. This is the shortest of the 3 races that we're going to be, we're not going to be seeing it today, because it is really so short. But this is Old Vanderval. There's a couple of very small hairpin turns here, and it's just a single figure 8. This race is one that really shows off the ability of a racer to really just push it to the limit. If you're not going hard in Old Vanderval, you're probably not going to win if you're facing off against a few other skilled racers. This one is known for its very, very low times. Some people managed to make it down to like 26-ish, last I saw, seconds on this race. Thank you. May even be a little bit faster than that now. I'm not entirely sure. So we're just waiting on an invite into the new lobby. There we go. We're joining up and ready. So here we have, we're going to be starting in just a couple of seconds here. So let's swap back over to our spectator cam. And well, actually first we'll take a look at, oh, hi there, that's me. Hey everybody. I'm here in my place. We're going to be looking at the brackets, not my face. There we go. So in this race, we're going to be seeing Meyer facing off against Ninjetti, Joaquin's, Sredni Vashdar, and Kat. So we have the 2 victors from those previous races. We have Sredni Vashdar and Meyer. Those are going to be a couple to look at because I should have kept close. Oh, well, the times are right here. So we have Sredni Vashdar coming in at 3.3 minutes 12 seconds. So that's quite a bit faster than the fastest times of the other racers. but we'll see if that works in his favor or if that works against him. As we head directly on back to this, we are loading into the map. I'm going to be seeing this 5-person race taking off in just a second, and I do apologize for that very slow and choppy situation with the stream there. It'll be solved for future streams, I guess. So race starting in 2, 1, and they're off, heading directly off the start line there. We have a bunch of people. Oh, we have our 300i from Meyer. It's just bouncing off the top of the roof. We'll see if that causes a problem for him. And here we have potentially Ninjetti. Ooh, we have somebody just floating around in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully that is not an issue for them. And here we go, Sredny taking an early lead and really just speeding away from the competition. We can not even see Meyer in the background, just behind him. But let's see if we can get over to that ship there. And it looks like we do have Meyer back here. Is Meyer in second or first? I'm confused. This says that he's in second, but I believe that Meyer is flying the 300i. I could be mistaken, though. And here we have Katz in his Aurora, and soon we'll be seeing everybody passing on through the start line here, so we'll keep an eye over here and see what kind of ordering it is that they're coming up through in. And here comes the first one. It is Sredny, followed very shortly by Meyer. That is a just over 1 second difference between the two. Here comes our third place contestant. Let's see, this is a Avenger from Ninjetti heading on through, and then we have Joaquin's, I believe, coming through in his second Avenger, and then finally, here is Katz coming on with the Aurora LN, and there it is passing on through. So we have some pretty nice times. Sredny here with 1 minute 5 seconds, 1 minute 06 for Meyer. Ninjetti coming in third with his 1:16, and then another little bit of a gap for Joaquin's 1:21:36, and then Katz here with 1 minute 26 seconds and 23 milliseconds. Here we have Meyer that we're observing right now coming on through. Looks like they're coming through to towards the end of the race again. The end of the second lap. Let's see if there's been much change in the positions on this one. Definitely Meyer pushing hard to catch up with the Gladius, but that Gladius is doing work. It's doing his job for sure. We have 1 minute 2 seconds still. Top time from Sredny. Meyer increasing his speed by a couple of seconds there, up to 1 minute and 4 seconds. So we'll see if that comes to help him out in the future. He's approximately 4 seconds total behind Sredny now, because that's just best lap, not total lap distance. Here we have Ninjetti, I believe. Yeah, Ninjetti coming on through with 1 minute 15 seconds, improving his time by just 1 second. And it looks like Joaquin's might have drifted off, and it might be just behind Katz here. Katz coming through with his, well, who's this that we're looking at? Here's Joaquin's, potentially. Somebody just floating around there. That is a bug. Not entirely sure what causes that, but something does. Let's head on over and let's try to find this Gladius, because this will be coming up towards the end of the race pretty soon. So here we have Sredny coming through, just finishing off the race there at 3 minutes, 10 seconds, 33 milliseconds. And let's see who is next in. Oh, there's Meyer, just passing by with 3 minutes, 14 seconds. So Meyer in second place. Who are we going to have coming in third here? Is it going to be Ninjetti continuing on in third place? Oh, there's Katz coming on through, so we might be having a couple of people coming in soon. Coming in pretty hot. Here comes... Who's this? Well, it looks like someone may have overshot that ring. That is okay. Here comes Ninjetti coming in with third place, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, and 30 milliseconds. And who else do we have coming up behind them? Joaquin's. Looks like we lost track of Joaquin's, unfortunately. But here comes Katz. Will he make it through to the end? It looks like just outside again. Just about 2 seconds after the end of the race. And then here's Joaquin's. Also, unfortunately, unable to finish the race. But these are some pretty nice times. We have Sredny here in first place. Looks like he's going to be walking away with that victory. the open bracket at 1 minute or 3 minutes 10 seconds 33 seconds milliseconds. I can say words. We have Sredny coming in with 3 minutes 10 seconds 33 milliseconds. Meyer 3 minutes 14 seconds 92 milliseconds. So just about 4 seconds afterwards. Yeah, looking a little bit better. Thank you very much for keeping us up to date on that. Sorry that there is some issues here. I'm going to switch over to screen cap here. This is the screen cap that I took of the results of this race. So we have Meyer coming in at 3 minutes 14 seconds 92 milliseconds, and then Ninjetti at 3 minutes 45 seconds and 30 milliseconds. And then there's a couple of non-completes, but that's racing. That's just what happens. There's that 10 minute or that 1 minute buffer at the end of the race where if you don't get in, you just don't finish. But nice to have all podium places filled. We have our first place, second place, and third place results. So congratulations to Sredny. Very nice to see that victory coming down to somebody. We knew it had to go to somebody, but nice to see it coming down now. And it looks like it's going to be Sredny, Meyer, and Ninjetti coming in with those podium places. We're going to swap over to, again, Rickard Memorial. Maybe if I just remove this file, it'll be fine. So we're going to switch over to this Rickard Memorial view here, and we're going to be heading on over and waiting for the next round. So we'll take a look and see how things are looking in look and see how things are going, what our plan is for the next little bit. And how long of a pause we're going to take between the open bracket and the high-speed bracket, because that looks like it may have finished a little bit earlier than was necessarily expected. All right, sounds good. It sounds like... sorry, could you repeat that? All right, sounds good. Oh yeah, that's true, but I can just swap over to it on the proper thing. Cool, thank you very much. So it looks like we're going to be taking around a 10-minute break between the open and the final, or the open ramp bracket and the high-speed bracket. So if I can switch over right now to that thing I was just looking at. Where did you go? Here we go, and screen cap. Excellent. So we have the open class down in the bottom right corner here is now completed. We have Victor in Sredny. Congratulations to him for that $10 Star Citizen gift card. Well raced. We'll see if we can get a way to get a interview working here in just a couple of seconds. So Sredny, if you're still around, that would be cool to get working. I might have to do some finessing of Discord to make that happen, though. But we'll try it. And moving on. Oops. Well, let's minimize that. So moving on, we're going to be moving into this high-speed class, and that's going to be taking place on Defford Link, where we're of course only going to be seeing the M50, the Razor, or the 350R. And the prize value for that one is going to be a $25 Star Citizen gift card. Let's switch back over to this, and again, we're on Rickard Memorial. This is a great randomized playlist. I should probably just make a separate playlist for each individual video. But that's for next time. Okay, what do we have to open up here? Let us swap on over. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Let's swap on over to our music channel to have a little bit of music playing while we break for around 8 more minutes, and then I'll be back potentially with Sredny. See you shortly. All right, so we are here with Sredni Vashtar, the winner of that round. You're going to see my face. You're not going to see his face. Maybe we'll get that working at some point in the future. But for now, what we're going to be doing is I am going to be adding a audio input capture. Nope. I'm going to be getting an audio output capture. Add existing. Add Discord. Okay. And Sredni, how's it feeling?
It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Glad to hear it was a lot of fun. Was there anything particular? I noticed that you were flying in that Gladius. Was there any particular reason why you chose to fly the Gladius for this race?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, because it flies closest to the Razor in terms of handling. I had originally planned to fly an Aurora for the open class and realized that that might actually really hurt my chances in the high speed because they fly so differently. So I took the ship that raced as closely flight model wise to the Razor as I could find and raced that instead.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, okay. So it makes sense to kind of hedge your bets to try to get some more practice in the open class for the high speed class for later on. So maybe that'll pay off for you in the future.
One can hope. We'll see.
That's excellent. What are your hopes for maybe the next race? I feel like I might be able to predict what your hopes are for the next race, but what about racing in the future? What do you want to do with racing in Star Citizen?
My primary interest is just to promote it more than anything else. If I can stay competitive, that would be awesome. Top 10 is nice when you can get there. But more and more people are coming in, and the competition is heating up and heating up, and I think that's a really good thing. So my aspirations are more about making sure that the racing mode in Star Citizen and eventually in the PU is popular and hopping, and hopefully there's a lot to report on. One of the things that I'm most interested in continuing is the Racer's Perspective video series. So hopefully racing will stay vibrant, and there'll be lots to talk about.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I enjoy watching the videos that I've seen of yours so far about racing. There was the one specifically related to this tournament that I enjoyed. Um, so, if you were to give some piece of information, maybe some of our fans here in the audience are looking to get into racing for themselves. What kind of thing would you say to them if they want to start being more competitive? I know you said that you weren't really looking to stay necessarily competitive, but if they were trying to get more into racing, what would you recommend that they do?
Just be patient. It's a skill thing. Anyone can be a competitive racer. If you start out terrible, that's normal. Everyone starts out terrible. Um, I remember being really happy uh, a few years back to breach a 2-minute lap on Old Vanderbilt. Like, just stick with it. Watch YouTube videos of the top pilots and see what they're doing. Ask questions. Don't be shy, and have fun. Once you figure out how to fly your ship on the track, it's just a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally understand that. That's a great thing to end off there on. Is there any last thing, maybe about yourself or anything that you're doing that you would like to share with our community here?
I can't think of anything. Sorry.
Okay, that's totally okay. Well, thank you very much, Sredni, for coming online. Really great to hear from you. Congratulations on your victory, and good luck in the upcoming races.
All right, sure thing.
All right, have a good one. And hold on, let's disconnect from this chat and reconnect to the chat over on my other screen because I have a very high tech setup here. There we go. That sounds good. So we're going to be moving into this next race relatively soon. Again, thank you very much, Redney, for popping online to hang out with us briefly after that race. It was great to hear from you. Maybe in the future, it'd be very cool if we could have some sort of like video conferencing thing. That'd be nice. But for now, I think we're just going to be hanging out, waiting for that indication that we're getting back into the next race. And while we do so, thank you very much, by the way, chat. I do appreciate the comments, Cats and Sigelian. Thank you. Uh, so I am going to go into my files right here and remove. What am I removing? This one, we're removing Rickard and Old Vanderval, and we're going to be swapping directly on over to here and adding a file, and it's going to be that one, and removing that and doing that, and there we go. We have Defford Link. So this is Defford Link. This is the race that we're going to be seeing coming up in just a couple of minutes here. This is going to be our high-speed class. It's not going to be using this Mustang that you can see flying right now. We're going to be seeing the Razor, we're going to be seeing the M50, and we're going to be seeing the 350R. So hopefully we'll have a nice spread across each of those ships. This is setting up to be a pretty exciting day. And with this race, with $25 on the line, you know, that'll buy you or upgrade you to a new ship that is just that next step up. That's going to be really nice to be moving up towards in the next stage. Just $25 really can make a big difference. So these racers might be very encouraged to do well, to push themselves a little bit hard and to push themselves towards more of a winning position, maybe taking more risks than they would otherwise. Again, on Defford Link, there is that section right at the beginning of the race that really quickly switchbacks. There's this sort of S-curve right at the beginning. We're going to have to keep an eye on that because that is an area that is rife for people to just slide by and not hit those rings. You must pass through the ring or we might have to impose a time penalty on the racers. So let me just have a moment here to pop in-game. I have not, as far as I know, I have not yet received an invitation to a party. It looks like I have not. So we'll continue watching Defford Link here. And this is one of those interesting maps that continually switches back all the way across the map. Here we're going to be coming through to that final long corkscrew that goes all the way up to the top of the map and then drops vertically down. This is one of the most scenic parts of a race, in my opinion. If I had my way, I would only commentate this part of the race because I think that this part is beautiful right here. Just sitting off in the distance, watching these ships slowly climb and then immediately drop at full speed down towards the surface of this planet that I've forgotten the name of currently, is just a really nice sight to behold. We're going to be having 3 different matchups going on here. The way that this is going to be working is as long as everybody is present and everybody is ready to race, we're going to have a race of 3, possibly 4 participants, followed by 2 more races of 4 participants. Of those, we'll be moving up from the quarterfinals to the semifinals, and then into the finals from that point forward. So with that lap just finishing there, let's swap over to our brackets, open up the high speed bracket here. Where did it go? Oh, apparently I'm drawing happy faces all over the place. There we go. Here is our brackets. We have, in our high speed groupings, we have Kreckenmare, who unfortunately had to withdraw. They had some obligations in real life, so they had to withdraw their participation. But we have Meyer facing off against Ridnev, Sredny, and Dark Ape, or potentially Ripper. I don't entirely know how to pronounce the name that they gave us, so we're going with Dark Ape and possibly Ripper as things occur. Then we'll be seeing Captain Firewind. I wrote all these names down. Captain Firewind, Major Tom, Airside, Ivan, and Hilarious Drunk facing off. We'll see Hilarious Drunk again from earlier in that from that initial race that they had where they were in. I didn't write it down. That's okay. And then for our final race, we're going to be seeing Cats face off against Energy, Joaquin's, Xerix, and Ninjetti. It looks like I forgot to write down Ninjetti earlier, so it's a good thing that we are here. Let's insert a row below, add in Ninjetti, and unfortunately in this one, I don't know who you're... Oh, we'll say that you're representing the same people you were representing before, and I will just assume that that's correct. And as we wait, we'll do the thing that I forgot to do earlier, but I was very excited to do. And the way that we're going to do that is just like this. And we are waiting here after that just to get into the game. We're waiting on a couple of people to get started. Let's make sure that I didn't just miss the invitation while that was going on. I did not. That's totally A-okay. And that graphic there that you just saw was very wonderfully provided by Greg. So thank you very much for the use of that. It's very, very much appreciated. I realized I should have made some credits for the end of this, but I'll go through with as many as I can at the end as I can remember as we go on through. So, in potentially this first matchup, we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a international representation going on here. There's a few more people from great races starting in just a couple of minutes. We're going to see a little bit more of a range of racers from around the world in this one. I didn't quite get the opportunity to record where the racers were coming from in the other ones. But in this one we have Rudnev, who is currently in Absolutely, and they are representing the Russian Transgalactic Exploration Corporation. We have Meyer again representing Synchronizers. And do we have... Did Dark Ape... Yeah, Dark Ape, or Ripper, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, is here representing Zimcorp Extraordinaire, Expeditionnaire, I think. Expeditionnaire. And that's a French organization, so we have a little bit more of a range. And then, of course, Sredny Vashtar is also here in this race with us, and they are once again non-representative. They're just racing on their own behalf. And so far, that's been very successful for them. So looking forward to seeing this, whether that continues on for them in these races. As we can see on the brackets over here, which we'll switch to very briefly. In these races, you can see that there are only the top two from each race who are going to be progressing on to the next match. And it looks like we're going to have Hilarious in here as well, but Hilarious is just going to be spectating. They'll be participating, I think, in the next race afterwards. So with everybody ready, looks like we are about to lock in. We're going to be meeting up on Defford Link in a couple of seconds here. Let's swap on over here. And just waiting for it to get started. I don't know why there's a bunch of smiley faces all over the document that I'm using to keep track of everybody's names, but smiley faces make everything better. And here, as we load into Defford Link, this is going to be the longest map, of course, of the ones that we're going to be seeing today. And this one is going to be very interesting because we're going to see a lot of very fast ships floating around in this area. And as per usual, let's hang out here just watching the start line, giving these racers the opportunity to look to head off. We're going to have Dark Ape in a Razor, Rudnev in a Razor, Meyer and Sredny in unknown ships, but it looks kind of like it's going to be some Razors. We have a couple of blue Razors here. It looks like Meyer that we're observing right now just here behind Rudnev, and Meyer trying to cut through those buildings, but he does not quite make it. Looks like Dark Ape here maybe in second place. Going to be coming around and going right through those rings. You can see that weaving back and forth there really can cause some major issues. And here it looks like we may have Rudnev right up here in the first position. There might actually be one person in front of them. This might be Dark Ape that we're observing right now. And it looks like there might be someone right up ahead of them, but unfortunately I'm not entirely sure because it's very difficult to see. Here popping back a little bit. Here we have another racer. Maybe this one is Dark Ape here. Anyway, we have a Razor here. It's nice that they all look identical because that makes them very easy to discern from one another. Here is very quick around these corners, going all the way up this nice big spiral. This one is... Oh, this one looks like it might be Dark Ape, just passing Sredny there at the top of the thing, but it looks like he may have clipped one of his wings, unfortunately. But Sredny potentially did the same thing. Alright, now we have, looks like Rudnev out in first with 1 minute 23 seconds, 37 milliseconds. Dark Ape, 1 minute 28, so about 5 seconds back. Sredny, 136, and Meyer with 134. So it looks like that third and fourth place is pretty tight there, and Rudnev is out in front of the pack. I wonder if we can even see back over his shoulder to see how far back the next person is. But look at the control that Rudnev is showing here of getting through these corners, and these ships turn on a dime. This is a much different race from the open class we saw earlier. Just a very different approach to it, and unfortunately we have Dark Ape there just drifting a little bit too far, annihilating himself against a building, and that's gonna cost him, but doesn't cost him second place so far. We still have Sredny pretty close behind. Looks like they might be catching up. So we'll see how that goes for Meyer, actually. Looks like Meyer is just closing that gap. Then we have Sredny bringing up the rear a little ways back. You can just see the previous racer, Meyer, disappearing around the corner in front of him. And here we have Rudnev starting up on their second lap. Or third lap, rather. 1, 2, 3, yep. With 1 minute 23 seconds as their top lap time. 1 minute 28 for Dark Ape. Meyer still at 1 minute 34, and Sredny bringing up the rear with that 136. So you can really see the ways in which these races can be tough and can be very, very punishing for the racers if they have one impact. It looks like Sredny there did have an impact, and they are looking like they're falling pretty far behind on this race. And here we go. There is Sredny, unfortunately just beginning his third lap, but crashing into a building and exploding. Here is Rudnev coming up to that very large spiral. This is going to be their third lap. Wonder how they're going to have this showing in the end. If we look directly down, we might be able to see some people following up on their tail. And here is that very sharp, very sudden dive. And let's look backwards through the start line here. And we'll be able to see Rudnev coming through. Here he comes. There you go. And Rudnev with 4 minutes, 13 seconds, 69 milliseconds. And then in second place, we have somebody else coming up. Who's this coming up? Yeah, maybe it's just the iris opening and shutting, but it may be Meyer coming up shortly afterwards. So congratulations to Rudnev. Looks like you will be moving on to the semifinals of this Summer Cup in the high-speed class. And there comes Meyer in with the second place with 4 minutes, 45 seconds, 25 milliseconds. That's quite some time after that first place. 30-second later finish. And here is Sredny, I believe, coming around the final loop. Oh, here's Sredny coming in third place. So it looks like Sredny did manage to make up that fourth to third place, but unfortunately it's just not enough to make it through to the final. And let's see if we can get a look at Dark Ape here. And here comes Dark Ape, heading on down towards the finish line. Let's see if we'll see them come on through. It looks like we will manage to see them come through. And here they go. So Rudnev walking away with the victory here. 4 minutes, 13 seconds, 69 milliseconds. We have 4 minutes, 45 seconds, 25 milliseconds for Meyer. Sredny, 5 minutes, 7 seconds, and 31 milliseconds. And then Dark Ape bringing it in last with 5 minutes, 32 seconds, 78 milliseconds. So it looks like we are going to have Rudnev and Meyer moving on towards the semifinals. So, very well done. You can see that these races, even though they're on a longer track, taking a longer time, they are very impressive, very fast races. So, racers are definitely going to be taking some risks. I'm going to leave this lobby so that we can get invited back into a new one. Let's take a look at those brackets, see how they've been updated. That is the Highspeed grouping. Oh, it looks like we're just going to have the semifinals and then finals. I was incorrect in thinking. So it looks like the Rednev and Meyer are moving right on through till the finals. So this will be an interesting thing to see. It's just it's a pretty sudden elimination type thing. So congratulations again to those two moving on. Unfortunately, the remaining three either did not race at all or didn't manage to make it up in those top two slots to move on. But we are looking forward to seeing all of these racers come back in the future. Next race, looks like we are going to be seeing Captain Firewind facing off against Major Tom, Hilarious Drunk, and Airsai Ivan. And we have a couple of razors showing up here. It looks like Captain Firewind is picking up on that the new white razor, just to help me a little bit with being able to identify who is who. And we also have Airsai Ivan with a razor and Hilarious Drunk also in his blue razor. All racers in that previous race were very, very good, very nice, very fun to see. It was good seeing those passes here and there. Nice to see the places change throughout the race. You kind of saw Meyer in the lead at the beginning. I believe I might be thinking about the open class, but you saw Meyer in the lead there at the beginning. But it's interesting to see how things can change over the course of a race, with Rudnev really dominating through from an early point of that race, with that 4 minutes and 13 seconds, a 30-second lead on second place. So just chilling briefly while we wait on the next race to start. There you go. Yeah, congratulations, Redneck. And what we're going to be doing here is let's head on over to swap this over here, bring this up here, and let's take a look at the difference between these two new razors. We have the blue razor, the typical one, the one that was released about a year ago, at least in concept, actually almost a year and a half ago in concept. And it's quite a sleek looking ship. It reminds me of the Formula racers all the time. But it's such a nice, sleek, quick racing ship, and it's really tough to outmatch it. There are not many racers who can beat a razor if they're in any other ship, and those who can are the best of the best. You gotta respect that ability. But now we have our brand new razors, the LX and the EX. Both are a little bit of a downgrade racing wise. They're not quite the same high level of the base model razor, but they just look so cool with that really nice, beautiful white and black finish. These are some very, very impressive ships that will really, if they lose anything in racing ability, they gain a lot in threatening looks because they're just so dang pretty. So we're going to hop back over into the game here, see if we can... where's the button? See if we can join in on a lobby yet, which we cannot, so we're just going to give it a moment. Maybe pop over to take another little glance at Defford Link here. And actually, we have here is a couple of extra different titles. So let's take a look at this glaive. Running along through, this is Old Vanderval, I believe. Yeah, so we'll just watch this glaive taking its way through Vanderval. And yeah, for this next race, we have Major Tom, Captain Firewind, Airsci Ivan, and Hilarious Drunk. So yeah, just like we're asking there in chat, who is your favorite for this race? Who would you like to see win? Who do you think is going to win? And maybe who deserves it? Who do you want to win? The Glaive is always a very interesting choice in racing. You see it quite a lot. We have Airsci. Firewind is very quick on Defford. There you go, Captain Firewind, getting a little bit of love there from Stredney. Okay, so it looks like we have one no-show for this race, and we're waiting on just the restart of Star Citizen to make sure that everyone can get into this race together. So I missed the name of who's a no-show, but we have Hilarious, we have Airsci Ivan, and who else is racing off in this one? Potentially either. So we have Hilarious Drunk, Airsci Ivan, Yvonne. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Captain Firewind or Major Tom. Captain Firewind. So it looks like we're going to be racing without Major Tom. But that is just the sort of thing that happens sometimes. Looks like we're just about to be readying up, and we're going to have a Razor in here with us. We're going to have a Razor LX and another Blue Razor. So we'll have Airsci Ivan and Hilarious Drunk in those two same ships. Looks like Airsci is getting some love in the audience. Captain Firewind leaving the lobby, rejoining. Potentially just had some technical difficulties there. So we're going to be getting this race on in just a minute here. And we're all set. The Glaive is a fun ship to fly, and it's always very, very fun to see in racing. It's got that super wide wingspan, though, so it's really deceptive. It looks like it's super small because of how flat it is, but the extended wingspan can really do you some negatives by just forcing you to clip against buildings. As you can see, there's the Glaive, or what is that? Is that the Scythe? Is the Scythe in game yet? Anyway, there's one without a wing. And that one is potentially a little bit better, but then you get used to not having a wing on one side, and you forget about the wing on the other side. Also, earlier, had a few looks at these Avengers flying in that open class. Avengers? Not really what you would typically think of when you imagine a racer or something in Arena Commander, just in general. But these base model Avengers are pretty nice. Sorry, what was that? Well, just waiting on this race to start here in a couple of seconds. And here we go. Let's swap over to observation, and this is the second race of that final round. We have Captain Firewind in his white Razor representing the Zoner Group, another French organization within Star Citizen. We have Airsci Ivan, another Russian Transgalactic Exploration Corporation representative. So we had Rudnev from them earlier, making it through until the finals. And we have Hilarious Drunk, who is representing, once again, Pagan. And there they go, all off the start line. Those three wonderful different Razors. And, of course, Pagan Zealots of Technology, represented by Hilarious Drunk. Here we have a individual with Bonitis. Let's swap away from that, because nobody needs to see that. And here we go. Who is this coming on through? This would be, I lost track of who's in first. This might be, there we go. It looks like that was Hilarious. This one looks like it's going to be Captain Firewind here in second place, and just in front of him is going to be Airsci Ivan taking the lead. and not wanting to give it up. Oh, wait, hold on. Am I backwards? I'm backwards. So here we go. We have Captain Firewind we're observing right now. Unfortunately, just clipping right into that that ring. It is nice sometimes when you hit those rings to explode, because if you start drifting too much, it might take you a long time to recover from that. And here we go with Airsci Ivan taking the lead, heading out right in front, and here he goes into that vertical drop, heading around this corner with Captain Firewind hot on his tail. So let's take a look at the start line. And here they come through. There is Airsci Ivan coming through at 1 minute 33 seconds, and soon we will have Captain Firewind coming on in second place, and it looks like they may have jostled up against a building. There goes Captain Firewind, and then we have Hilarious following up. And there they are, heading directly down. They're just heading through the start line here, so we have 1 minute 33 seconds for Airsci Ivan, Captain Firewind at 1 minute 47 seconds, and then here we have Hilarious with 2 minutes 6 seconds and 82 seconds. Let's see if you can make out any of that time. And there's Bonitas Man again. There we go, Airsci Ivan. Looks like they're still holding their lead. Managed to make up quite a lot of time. It'll be tough for Captain Firewind here to catch up if they really try hard. They might be able to, but it's a long time, those 15 seconds in races like this, especially against a Razor. You might be able to see Airsci Ivan, maybe he might even start flying a little bit more carefully, a little bit taking fewer risks, because even though they're going a little bit slower, 15 seconds is a long time in racing. There we go, coming through to the end of that second lap. Look at those tight curves, those tight corners. You can actually see that sometimes he rotates to get his belly up a little bit to help have more surface area to push him against the wind, push against the air, so that the ship turns a little bit sharper. And here you go, flying through that building. That is a risky maneuver in there. And here we have, who is this? This would be Hilarious coming up to the end of, coming towards the end of their second lap. And Captain Firewind coming towards very close to the end of the second lap. Let's see them pass on through these rings here. There you go. Captain Firewind heading on through at 1 minute 47 seconds for their fastest lap. And Airsci Ivan, now they are heading towards, maybe this is Hilarious. Yeah, here we go. Here's Hilarious coming through towards the end of their second lap. There you go, 1 minute 57 seconds. So we have Captain Firewind here in second, trying to make up that time against Airsci Ivan, but Airsci Ivan looks like they're pretty far out ahead. Airsci Ivan coming towards the end of their final lap here. They are going to be heading through, and there we go. There are the fireworks. Airsci Ivan with the win at 4 minutes 39 seconds and 9 seconds. Fastest lap is 1 minute 30 seconds. It's quite respectable. And here comes Captain Firewind up to the top of that spire, heading on down for the last couple of turns before the finish line. Let's hang out here and watch for him to come through. There he is, opening up that ring and heading on through. There we go, heading through with those fireworks and having a real good time. It looks like we're going to have Airsci Ivan and Captain Firewind moving on towards the end, and that's with a time of 4 minutes 39 seconds 9 milliseconds and 5 minutes 5 seconds and 25 milliseconds for Captain Firewind. Here we have Hilarious. We'll just observe Hilarious through till the end of the race. I'm getting parched. I'm going to need to get some water. And we'll see if Hilarious is able to make it through to the end and finish this lap before getting timed out. But these are some pretty nice times that are getting put up. It is nice to see these races being so competitive. With so many racers in the field, we have a real good turnout today. For having a couple of no-shows, it's very nice to see these maps getting as close to getting as many people in these races and as many rounds as we can so far out of this. So there we have it. Airsci Ivan and Captain Firewind moving on to the next round with times of 4 minutes 39 seconds and 5 minutes 5 seconds. Hilarious, unfortunately not finishing that last lap, but getting very, very close. And they will not be moving on to the final round. So it's time for us to gear up and get ready for that final high-speed class matchup of the semifinals. And we are going to be leaving the server. Sorry, suddenly I'm unable to breathe, but we'll get through it. We'll work through this together, everybody. And let's swap over to these brackets. So what do we have heading on right now? We have Airsci Ivan in at 4 minutes 39 seconds, 09 milliseconds. Captain Firewind 5 minutes 5 seconds and 25 milliseconds. Hilarious Drunk with, if you want, I can double check that in my screenshots. And Major Tom, unfortunately, another did not show. Hey, Slippery Pixels. Hey, everybody in chat. Sorry that I'm not really focusing on chat or looking at chat all that much. There's a lot going on stream. But feel free to share. Who do you want to see win these races? Who are you voting for? Who are you rooting for? And what kind of races do you want to see? Earlier, before everything started, we were talking about these very, very cool, these ideas about death races. These will be some very fun things to watch in the future when we have more of an idea of what those are going to look like and more of a ability to actually participate in them. So games, there we go. And we had hilarious, oh, of course, with a did not finish. I don't know how I forgot that. It was 20 seconds ago. So we have some hopes and dreams going into the energy field. Who else? We have Cats is a favorite. There's a few different racers getting some love here. Yeah, we have facing off this one. We have Energy representing Penta, the German clan. Cats also from Penta in his 350R. Cats is really known for that 350R. Ever since I started racing, I've observed Cats and known that, well, shortly after I started racing, after that brief embarrassing period of time where I had no idea who Cats was, I've seen them loving that 350R, so we'll see if that pays off for them here. Next, we have Joaquin, once again representing the Intergalactic Defense Force, Xerex from United Earth Mining Corporation, and Ninjetti from Stars Jaeger. And we'll see all of these two racers facing off relatively soon, whenever the lobby is created for them. And once again, here is a race between 5 people, and 2 are going to be moving on to those high-speed finals, and they're going to be facing off for that $25 gift card. So we're looking forward to seeing how this goes. We have not yet seen a 350R. In fact, we haven't seen anything but Razors so far. There's been that one Razor LX, but aside from that, it's been Field of Mist. So we'll see if the ability to switch it up maybe throws other racers off or changes how they react or how they race. So bets going down on Energy and Ninjetti for second spot. Okay, so we are just waiting for just a moment on one of our racers who just popped offline. I am not yet in the lobby, so I don't know if you've invited people into the lobby yet, but I am not there yet. As in, I haven't actually gotten an invite to it yet. But we're going to be seeing this go on relatively soon. Screen must be 2 inches or less from face. Yeah. Oh, because you couldn't see Cats earlier. Yes, absolutely. So what are we gonna pop over to now? Let's take a look at these extra videos here. And once again, this blade heading around an old Vanderval. We see some very interesting ships flying in this video. We've got those Auroras, the Avengers. Looks like a 350R off in the distance. Some very fun, nice ships to fly. This would have been a very fun race to participate in. Next, we are just waiting on that invitation into the race, and we'll get this race underway relatively soon. Use the bucket in the next race. Yeah, you know what? The Buccaneer is not one that you ever necessarily expect to see flying in a race, but it's every time that I see one, I'm very, very happy because I really enjoy watching it fly. I really enjoy hearing it fly, and they do quite well in these kind of environments. There we go. We've been invited into the lobby, and we're in here and ready. So this will be starting relatively soon, I'm sure. We're still waiting on that one participant to come back, but unfortunately there just might be a no-show for this one. We'll see how that goes in a couple of seconds here. And unfortunately there is a forfeit due to technical difficulties from Joaquin. So unfortunately, they won't be able to participate in the race, but it was good to see them in the open class earlier on. I'm glad that they managed to get at least into that race. But I do understand the disappointment of not making it into one of the other ones that you registered for. So hopefully, Joaquin, you will be able to be back with us for our next racing series and put on a good show. So we are starting in around 1 minute here. Yeah, absolutely. StarRacing TV, I will definitely be doing that. Racing in third person is a very interesting experience. They're Senatoresi. Sorry, I butchered that name, but my laptop is a little bit far from me, so where Sredny has his face too close to his screen, I have it far too far away. But racing in third person is a very interesting experience. It's a lot of fun, and I would be interested to see if somebody were to do it competitively. Alright, and we're going to be getting into this race here, so in just a moment we'll swap over to this spectator view and start heading on in the game. Racing in third person, better with a rig? Yeah, absolutely. If you're using a HOTAS setup, definitely third person racing is a lot of fun and a whole lot easier than doing with a mouse and keyboard in third person. So here we go. Let's get this view on the start line here. We're going to have 10 seconds before this last race of the semifinals gets going. And we have this race between 3 individuals. Looks like we lost somebody. So we have Cats, Energy, Ninjetti. I apologize for having the thing up while they were flying past us. So here we go. We have 2 350Rs and a Razor, it looks like, facing off here. So here is our Razor from Energy, I believe. And then Cats here taking the early lead in his 350R and really putting on a show of force here, not allowing anybody in nearly behind him. But there's a pretty good race between Energy and Ninjetti going on. They're neck and neck coming into the this middle portion of the race. But here we go again. They're just swapping back and forth. Ninjetti and Energy trading that second and third place point. And Cats way out in the lead, leaving the others in the dust. And it looks like Ninjetti is starting to make a little bit of a move forward. He's gaining a little bit of time on Energy. We have those two 350Rs pushing out into the front, and the Razor, unfortunately crashing directly into the ring there. Energy, that's going to cost a lot of time, and we'll see if Energy is able to recover from that, but we still have Cats right there in the lead, just coming through with 1 minute and 32 seconds. Ninjetti coming through at 1 minute 38 seconds, so pretty close behind, and then Energy, here you come through at 1 minute 46 seconds, so everybody coming through pretty tightly together. A little bit tighter than we've seen in the other races. Energy trying to make up those almost 10 seconds on second place, 15 or so seconds up to Cats in first place. Maybe he can make it up. We'll see. Here's Cats out in front again, really doing what he can to maintain that lead and keeping it up with managing to keep his pace, which is nice to see. It's easy to screw up once and then end up with a really bad situation for the rest of the race. Well, it looks like Energy has made up that crash, and he's moved up into second place, and actually taken a little bit of time, chewed away a little bit of Ninjetti's time there, as well as has made a little bit of time up on Cats. Unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult to tell quite until we get to the midpoint of the race, when the second lap finishes and they pass the start line. But once again, we have Ninjetti and Energy here neck and neck, really close together, trading that second and third place. Cutting in between buildings. That was a very impressive maneuver right there from Energy, causing Ninjetti to cut that corner just a little bit close. And here we go. We have Cats already gone through for this beginning of the third lap, and there goes Energy, and we have Ninjetti coming up in third place for the beginning of the third lap there. So we have 1 minute 28 seconds, 1 minute 33 seconds, and 1 minute 38 seconds from these participants. So very close together, 10 seconds dividing all of our racers here on this race course. And here comes Cats coming up, already coming into the ending portion of this race. Let's see how Ninjetti is doing here. Ninjetti is just made it through those S curves pretty effectively. Did quite a good job there. And then we have, unfortunately, Energy. It looks like they missed that turn, so they had to stop and reverse briefly. That's going to cut into their time as well, but I don't know if even if they had made it, it would be able to make up that time. Oof. Unfortunately, any time that they made up there was immediately taken away by annihilating themselves into that building. Or just nudging themselves. I guess they didn't explode. And here comes, Cats with the very, very cocky sort of rotation through to the end of the race, where they actually collided with the starting tunnel. But 4 minutes 27 seconds is nothing to scoff at, and that's going to bring in first place in this race, and it's going to move Cats onto the end. 4 minutes 27 seconds, 46 milliseconds. And who do we have coming up next? Looks like, looks like Energy ended up stuck inside one of the rings. And let's see if we can actually see Ninjetti. Here we go. Ninjetti with 5 minutes, 6 seconds, 79 milliseconds. And we have a lot of bodies just floating around on this on the map here. Here comes Energy with his 5 minutes, 21 seconds, 35 milliseconds. So congratulations to Cats and to Ninjetti managing to make it through to the end of the race. Jerv, Kazuki, the next race, I don't know if you're talking about the next competition. The next race is starting up in about 5 to 10 minutes, and that's going to be the finals here, where we'll see the winners of these final last couple of races facing off. We are going to just view who's going to be in that right now. So, from that race, we have Cats finishing at 4 minutes, 27 seconds, 46 milliseconds. Ninjetti, 5 minutes, 6 seconds, 79 milliseconds. And Energy with 5 minutes, 21 seconds, 35 seconds. Unfortunately, Xerex did not show, and Joaquin's unfortunately had technical difficulties and had to leave. That means we are going to be moving on to our high speed finals. Here is the very end of the race. It's going to be 5 to 10 minutes before that gets going. And before then, we're going to head on over and watch this Mustang do its laps of this course that we can look forward to. But it'll be a very, very good, very tight showing between Rudnev, Meyer, Airsai, Ivan, Captain Firewind, Cat 740, and Ninjetti for the final race here. So here we have this racer going on, and looks like we are staying in the same lobby. And what was Rudnev's time? Oh, unfortunately, I switched away from that screen, but I'll switch back to it. We'll be able to review that once the final race is over, or we'll be able to do it right now. So the times that we have for the previous leaders, we have Rudnev with 4 minutes, 13 seconds, 69 milliseconds. Meyer with 4 minutes, 45 seconds. Airsai Ivan, 4 minutes, 39 seconds. 5 minutes, 5 seconds for Captain Firewind. Cats with 4:27, and Ninjetti with 5:06. So we still have Rudnev with quite a substantial lead over these other participants. So it'll be interesting to see these two, Rudnev and Cats, the two current leaders, facing off against one another. And of course, anybody on this field could come away with a victory, whether it be that they're holding back and faster than they're letting on, or the leaders could have a bad race. They could hit things, that happens in racing. So looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. So we have words of wisdom from chat on who may be winning, who may not be winning. And we're going to see how this plays out in just a few minutes here. Waiting for... Is everybody in the lobby? Is that everybody? We have 6 racers. We have 5 racers currently in the lobby. So we are waiting on... Who are we waiting on? Is it Airsai Ivan? No, it's not. It is Captain Firewind. We'll, I assume, give a couple of minutes for Captain Firewind to ready up. And their next race event. No, that's totally cool. I was not sure, and then I forgot to answer the rest of the question. I'm not entirely sure, Jerv Kazuki, when the next race event is going to be. But if you keep an eye on this channel, as well as if you pop into our Discord, everyone keeps people up to date pretty well on there of when events are going to be going on, as well as it'll be advertised, similar to how this one was, on Reddit, online, in a variety of places. And while we wait for this to get started, we're going to switch over to this screen again. Looks like we're just waiting a couple of minutes here for all the racers to get in and get ready up. We're looking forward to this race, right? So in chat, just let us know, who is it that you feel like is going to be the victor here? What crazy upsets might you expect? What things might happen? I'm very stoked on this race. It's going to be very interesting to see, because we have a nice mixture of 350Rs, Razors. We have that nice white Razor in there to, mess up the color balance really nicely. If we have Captain Firewind popping in with us. And shortly, we will be finding out if we're getting that started. There was a thing I was going to say. There was a reason that I switched to this screen, and it wasn't just to say hi and wave. Bye. It also was to say something, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it was. Oh, of course. After this race, we're going to be doing the same thing. So hopefully, If the winner of this race is in Discord, hopefully we can have another little bit of a interview with them. If there's a language barrier, that might happen. Unfortunately, I am from North America, which means that I basically only know one language. And as we wait for Captain Firewind to have a restart of his game, that's what we're waiting on right now. Hopefully we'll be able to, after this race is over, have another little bit of an interview with whoever the victor is out of this one. Because I feel like that's cool. And there is Captain Firewind hopping into the lobby. And it looks like we'll be ready to race in a couple of seconds here. And we'll see. After the race, stick around for a little while because we do have some cool things to mention. We don't yet have the schedule of when our next race will be, but we do have some just some finishing stuff to chat about and make sure that information gets out there so that we can share everything that needs to be shared with you all in one place right now. And that'll be after this race. Of course, let's see in chat, who are your favorite racers? Who are the people that you want to see succeed? What is it that you want to see out of this race? And what is it you want to see out of Star Racing in the future? What kind of things might make this game a little bit more interesting for you? Oh, there's Captain Firewind leaving the lobby, coming back in, and readying up, and it looks like we are going to be heading off into this race relatively soon. We'll give it a moment. And let's take that away and just have this nice little view here. Okay, so we're going to be starting in 1 minute here. Star Racing logo. Very, very nice. Let's head on over to, let's press the wrong button. Let's head on over to Defford Link so we can take a look at this one more time, because this is the track that these people are going to be racing on. These very first turns, that initial drop after the start line, we saw it hurt Sredny earlier, we saw it hurt a couple of people earlier, where they just immediately, after that first turn, collided with that building. That's the thing that damages me all the time when I'm racing, and that's why I'm not a competitive racer. But it's a tough corner, and then up here we have a similar situation, and here we go, the race is just starting, and here we go, starting up in 10 seconds. This is the final for that $25 gift card, and we will see who's going to be walking away with it very, very shortly. And there all of our racers go, a couple of 350Rs in there, a couple of razors, one coming off just at the end there. Airsci Ivan looks like they might have fallen behind very slightly, and here we go with Rudnev right out in front. Is this Rudnev in front? It looks like it. And Captain Firewind, unfortunately there was an early explosion there from Captain Firewind. Oh, this is an interesting screen. I haven't seen this one before, but we have two ships very, very close to one another. There's Katz and potentially Meyer actually racing very, very close by one another. Unless Katz switched ships, which I don't know if that happened. I don't think that happened. But we have these two here. Yeah, that's definitely Katz and Meyer there facing off. So this is Meyer in this Razor. Katz hot on his tail, and Rudnev far out in front. Is this him right here? It does look to be. This one would be Rudnev in a 350R potentially. And then here we go with Captain Firewind, or was that Airsci Ivan? That might have been Airsci Ivan. It's kind of tough to keep track. I'm looking forward to when we get actual name tags, name slates in game. And we're going to be coming up on the first lap here pretty quick. There we go. There is Rudnev with 1 minute 26 seconds. Coming in second here is going to be Meyer and Katz with 1 minute 31 seconds, 83 milliseconds. 1 minute 32.55 for Katz. Airsci Ivan with 1 minute 34 seconds. And Ninjetti with 1 minute 38 seconds. And then bringing up the rear, we have Captain Firewind, who is back there. Who do we got here? Once again, we have Katz, Ersai, Ivan, and Meyer all really tight together here. Rudnev quite some ways out in front again, flying in that Razor like he owns the place. That Razor is really doing good work for him. And Captain Firewind finishing off the first lap a little while ago with 1 minute and 55 seconds. So a little ways back, but he can always make that up. It is possible to get into somewhat better placing than that from that distance back. Here we have Rudnev probably coming through pretty quick. It looks like there is somebody coming through that Iris. Maybe they just passed through already. Nope. There's someone coming through. See who that is. I mean, it opened. There's got to be someone. Anyway, let's head back to observing. So here we have... who is this coming through? This one might just be Rudnev. Coming on through in that first place position. And Meyer, unfortunately, colliding with something and ending up dying on the track. And here is Katz and Ersai Ivan still fighting over that second place. Looks like Ninjetti, looks like Meyer fell back quite some ways through that impact. Meyer and Ninjetti both in the same position now, dropping quite some ways back through impacts. And we have Rudnev still way out in the lead. Oh, and whoever that was just clipped themselves right up against an Iris. It looks like that might have been Meyer, who just dropped down behind Ninjetti. And here is Captain Firewind, 127 on his best lap. And it looks like we might be coming up to the end of the race here. There's somebody coming through that Iris. Let's find out who it is. Or maybe it's just opening for nothing. We'll find out. Rudnev is leading the race here, absolutely. It looks like they have quite a commanding lead. It'd be great if we could, like, move this camera around a little bit. There we go. Here is Rudnev coming through at 4 minutes, 17 seconds, 93 milliseconds for the victory. And who do we got in second place? Looks like it might be Ersai Ivan here in this Razor. So it looks like we had two Razors out in front of the field. Ersai Ivan coming through at 4:34. Do we have... It looks like here's Katz coming up in his third place position. There he goes in 4:41, 94 seconds. Meyer, Captain Firewind making up to that fourth place position. And it looks like they're might hold it. Starting so far back in the pack, it looks like it might actually have made up to a respectable fourth place finish from that start that they had that was very, very rough. Then we have Meyer and Ninjetti coming through with 4 minutes, 57 seconds and 5 minutes and 2 seconds. So, absolute congratulations to Rudnev. 4 minutes, 17 seconds and 93 milliseconds on that race. That is a very, very respectable time. Commanding lead over the second place of Ersai with 4 minutes and 34 seconds. That was a real tight race among those in the back, but Rudnev really running away with that winning lap. Congratulations, absolutely going out to Rudnev. And let's see if I can find Discord in all of my things that are open. And if Rudnev is online, and if we can communicate in the language that is regular to us, possibly we could get them in here for a quick little interview. But if not, congratulations, of course, to Rudnev. And it was very, very good. Good seeing that race. Congratulations to all of our racers, those who placed in the winning of the first ones. Thank you very much for participating. Those were some very, very fun races. And also just thank you to everyone for participating. It was really cool to see all those ships out on the field. Very great seeing everyone running around like that. Here we are with our finals from the high speed. We have Rudnev with 4 minutes, 17 seconds, 93 milliseconds with that victory. Let's see if I can get my screenshot of this. Ersai Ivan ending up in second place with 4 minutes, 34 seconds. Katz, 4 minutes, 41 seconds. And then Captain Firewind, 4 minutes, 56. And then Meyer very, very close in behind with 4 minutes 57 seconds. That sounds totally good. We're actually on right now, so if he wants to get pulled up into this channel, that would be perfect. Great. So we're gonna have Rudnev coming in here relatively soon for a quick interview. Interview with the winner. Congratulations to him, of course, for that victory. Hello, Rudnev. Congratulations. Hello. How was that race for you? It was hard. So, too much adrenaline. Were you having trouble controlling your hand on your controls? Uh, I understand. Adrenaline will do that to you. It kind of sucks all of the energy out of you after you don't need it anymore. So that's very, very good. Can I ask you, what do you like about racing in Star Citizen? Oh, you can't hear Rudnev. Here, let's swap this over. Uh, there we go. Can you hear Rudnev now?
How again, please?
It looks like I can see that you can be heard now, so that is an improvement. Excellent. Thank you, Sredny.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, sorry, Rudnev.
It was very nice, very fun. It's what I want to ask.
So, what is it that you love about racing in Star Citizen?
I really don't understand question.
What do you enjoy about racing? Like, why do you like it?
I'm like it. I have computer for I buy the joystick and for everything for 6,000 for Star Citizen just and all it's for every big monitor and
Okay.
because it's very old systems good. I am liking to play, but its graphic too much better than all games on the world.
Good. That's great. Yeah, there's a lot of really good things to draw you to Star Citizen, absolutely, and the graphics and the ability to play it are definitely very important. So, is there any is there any last thing that you would like to say to your fans or to the fans of Star Racing before we take off?
I want to see a lot more people who playing and make video and make record from the Star Citizens.
Me too. I think that we can all mirror that thought. It would be great to see this community continue to build, continue to develop. Thank you very much, Rednev, for coming in for this quick little interview. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. All right, and so thank you very much, Rednev, for coming in for that interview. Thank you, everybody, for participating, everyone for being here. It's been a really good experience. This was my first time commentating, so I hope it went well. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone else did. I want to say a couple of quick thank yous to everybody involved. Flexxe, of course, for organizing this event, being sort of the leader and the guy who got it all running. Cat's Mythos, Greg for providing some wonderful graphics. Obinatus, Husky, everybody, Sredny for participating, Zarig for participating. I have definitely missed some names because I'm bad at that. But thank you everybody who's participated in creating this thing, and thank you everybody else for tuning in, watching the races, having a great time. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun too. Unless there is anything that anybody says that they should that we should continue on with before signing off, I'm good. So I'm going to switch over to our introduction video one more time. If anybody who's in the organization of this thing wants me to say anything else or do anything else, let me know now. You're not going to be broadcast anymore, and I will. I'll make sure that we get that going. I'll just do that first. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy this, and see you for the next races.